What do you do? What do you do? What do you do? Let's just get me to 100 subscribers, fam. Let's do this. Without further ado, let's enter into this recap. So the story continues where our protagonist realizes that the killer Jack is not dead. And the head keeps on talking to him, telling him, yo, you definitely cut off my head, but I'm not dead. Protagonist, out of the frustration, smacks his head, lifts his head up and says, you know what, why aren't you dead? You know what, are you surprised, Killer Jackass? Then he smashes his head into the ground, saying, you know what, I'm still gonna finish you. You know what? Then he picks up his sword, the machete, Killer Jack's machete, and says, I'm just going to slice you until you die. What? Just as he's about to slash Killer Jack's head, Killer Jack asks him, says, yo, it's okay, you're gonna slash my head, but then are you going to be done with your revenge? The protagonist confused and then asks him, you know what do you mean my revenge? I'm doing it right now. Like, yeah, done with it, not that, bruh. Then Killer Jack reveals the hard truth, says, I'm not the one that killed your parents. So our protagonist, out of frustration, starts laughing and then picks up his head and smashes it into the ground. He says, you son of a bitch, what do you mean you're the one who sliced? Then Killer Jack says, look man, have you seen the other contractor over there? I sliced his head off, but if you look at how your parents died, they were not sliced. Out of frustration, our protagonist lifts up his head. Just as he's about to do something to Killer Jack, the protagonist bully is about to wake up, and then Killer Jack suggests that they kill him so that they should not talk, so that they should continue with their conversation. The scene then shifts back to the school where our protagonist bully is sitting thinking about what happened last night and thinking about if the protagonist is dead or alive. While he's thinking about this, his fellow bullies come and say, you know what, you're hardcore. Why isn't the newcomer, the new student in school? Did you really scare him that much? Did you beat him up that much? The scene then shifts to a flashback of how the bully woke up, because he was choked by Killer Jack. He woke up and then he saw the dead body of the guy who he contracted to beat up the protagonist. Then as he was there, he remembered that, he was choked. As soon as the protagonist realizes it, he flees the scene and tries to call the police and tell them what exactly happened. But just as he was about to, he then remembered that he is actually the one that called, the protagonist to the point where they were, and just thinking that if the police came, that is going to be a suspect and is going to be locked up because the protagonist's body was not there at the crime scene. The scene then returns back to school where the bully is on the roof trying to smoke, trying to put his nerves back to normal. I think it's, hey, shit, this guy is definitely dead and I'm in trouble. Just as he was about to smoke, his sister came and asked him, hey, why isn't the new student, the transfer student, our protagonist in school? You did something to him, right? He was being questioned, pinned down, cornered by the sister, and he was panicking, saying he didn't do anything. Just as he was defending himself, a fellow classmate of the protagonist came and then asked the bully to say, you know what, since you do not know where the protagonist is, we have no choice but to go where? To his house, and you are going to have to accompany me. Then the bully was wondering to himself, why me? Why do I have to accompany you? And then the class rep told the bully that he had no choice but to accompany him. The scene then shifts to our protagonist's house, where the protagonist is talking to Killer Jack, interrogating him on what exactly he meant when he said that he wasn't the one who actually killed his parents. Killer Jack then started to explain to him that, they have contract holders and that each contract holder have their own contracts to kill people. And that on the day that his parents were killed, he blacked out and does not remember any single thing that happened. Our protagonist, of course, thinking that it was a joke and that it was a lie, looked at Killer Jack, asking him, why the hell am I keeping you alive? Why can't I just kill you right now, right here? Because Killer Jack wasn't actually giving him proper information or information that he can go by. The scene then shifts to the class rep and the protagonist bully walk into the protagonist's house to see if our protagonist is okay and if he's alive. Of course, the only reason why the bully was following was just to, ascertain or to make sure that, the protagonist is still alive. As they were walking, the bully then noted that, the type of place where the protagonist lives is actually a shabby place. The bully, not knowing that the protagonist was not or did not live with his parents but lived alone, and that his parents died a long time ago. While they were at the protagonist's house, they knocked and found out that the protagonist wasn't around because no one was answering. But the class rep then tangled and tingled with the door until the door opened and said, "You know what? We have no choice but to enter and to check and to go through his house to see where the protagonist is." But then the bully was shocked and was thinking, "Is this right? Are we supposed to barge into the house?" Just as they entered, the bully was then guilty, thinking, what is the class rep thinking about? Is he thinking that I actually killed the protagonist? Just as they were talking, the plot changes. The class rep has a hammer hidden behind his back, about to do something mischievous, I guess. Anyway, that's all for this recap. Hope you subscribe, like, and comment, and wait for the other chapter, and then we'll see what the class rep is up to and what he's going to do with the hammer behind his back.